So it should be like 2 seconds, like 1 second. And we're live, I think. And we're live. Welcome, Paul Coach and Patrick, the Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Smith, joined by my co-host, Paul Smith, who's hardcore coaching me, hardcore carrying me through this 2022 fantasy football season, because his knowledge is in depth where mine is superficial.
I
just like my face.
that I don't have the belt, and I'm very upset.
Well, you know what, Paul? Kickers and defenses didn't get you to here, but they're a huge aspect of the team.
Yeah.
Because I had the best fucking defense last year. We'll be talking about that later in this episode. But
Indubitably.
But first, we got some I was trying to make like a sound, you know. One minute. I had a good one. Top of the show for you. I don't know. That was terrible. Anyway, we got some top of the show. We got some top of the show news over here. Oh, I didn't even look at anything like recently. But we had Tim Patrick. He tore his ACL.
Yes, was about a week ago.
About a week ago.
Yeah, this makes Jerry Judy and Courtland a very, very interesting pickup in fantasy, especially Courtland Sutton. In my opinion.
Yeah, my sleeper of the year that I was going to draft, you know, and I think he's his draft value shot way up.
Yeah,
I mean, Jerry Judy's already pretty high, but yeah, Courtland Sutton.
Courtland Sutton should be higher in my opinion.
He should. I mean, besides the injury and besides having a crap quarterback, he did pretty good last season, and the year before he was killing it.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
But yeah, really kind of sad for Tim Patrick. He was kind of a breakout star.
Yeah,
a couple
weeks last year.
Yeah,
he did. He had some phenomenal games.
Couple weeks, but all of last year.
Last year, yeah, he was pretty well rounded.
I'm sorry, I'm very tired.
Yeah, Paul just woke up, and this is why we're gonna start with kickers first because I have a little bit more knowledge, and Paul has a little bit more knowledge of defenses. I know the top two defenses, and I think we have both 1 and 2s the same, but maybe we don't. Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Maybe.
But anyway, he tore his ACL. I feel like we're going to have, you know, at least one more before the season starts. Hopefully we don't have a Baltimore situation, you know.
Yeah,
what was going on with their field last year? Jesus. Oh, gosh.
After the third week of the preseason.
Yeah,
you know?
Actually insane.
When a lot of people draft.
What was that, 3 torn ACLs within like a week or 2 weeks?
Yeah, their
my God.
running back room was decimated.
It's actually crazy. And I, of course, picked up their third string. Can't even fucking remember his name. Don't need to remember his name because he didn't put out like he should have. It's all right. I'm not salty about it, you know. It's just I put a lot of stock into him, and yeah, it was a sad situation last year. Putting too much stock into a guy that I was trying to hardcore sell him though when I got both the backups for San Francisco and Baltimore.
Yeah,
and
you have Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, I dropped. So
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna talk about that in this. I'm going to talk about that later in this episode because I dropped them and for a reason that we'll later talk about. But yeah, I had Elijah Mitchell and I dropped him. It's cool. It's fine. I just had starting running back and he was tearing it up right after I dropped him because that's what happens in fantasy football. Once you have a player that's doing nothing, you drop him and then he blows up. Congratulations to me.
Yeah. Very much so.
Mines last year. Okay. So speaking of San Francisco, Deebo Samuel just got paid the bank, Paul.
He's $73.5 million over 3 years, which is $1.5 million more. DK Metcalf is kind of expected at this point.
I mean, he's okay. If I compare talent to talent, I mean, I think DK Metcalf is a more athletic, talented receiver. But yeah, Deebo, he's a hybrid, and I mean it's useful,
small, which is a really neat kind of trait for a receiver. I don't see that
Yeah, but they're also kind of getting punished there a little bit. I mean, the stress load of running back has in the NFL is just ridiculous. Getting hit, and I mean, yeah,
Talk about Zeke, the wear and tear on him. If I was Devo, I'd have definitely asked for more money. Just
Yeah.
if they're going to continue to use him as a running back.
The way he is. I mean, a lot of his running is towards the outside, which is a little less strenuous. But yeah, but I think that's most of his game. I don't know if he's just a standalone receiver. I don't think he's as good as. I don't think he's in the top 10 as a standalone receiver. Like if
No, I don't believe. I don't think the targets will be there, especially with Trey Lance first year as a full time starter.
Yeah.
I just maybe he breaks out. I've said this before. I'm kind of afraid about Trey Lance's accuracy and whether or not his accuracy translates well in the NFL. Now we've seen Josh Allen, who wasn't that accurate in college, really step up in terms of I wouldn't say accuracy because he was close to 60% last season, but being able to use his legs and he changed his throwing motion from college.
Yeah, it was a technique that was a little off there for him, and he did have coaching, and he had pretty great coaching, and it kind of added to his power, which is already crazy.
Yeah, Trey Lance does have a good arm. I'm not entirely sure that he has a unique arm for the NFL, and what I mean by unique, I mean Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes type arm.
Yeah, where he's just delivering fucking goddamn baseballs, pretty much.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. Was Josh Allen a baseball player? He just seems like one.
I don't. I know Patrick Mahomes' father played professionally.
Yeah, and I know Patrick Mahomes got drafted like Russell Wilson. Fucking Tom Brady, fucking Kyler Murray. One of the few.
8th overall pick of the Oakland Athletics.
Crazy. Like they just waste their draft pick. Okay, and let's not get too deep into this.
Well, no.
Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure in baseball, you have like an opportunity to sign them, and you don't sign them, they go back in the pool, compensated for them.
Oh,
the Oakland A's got No, I don't know much. Don't quote me on that.
I mean, I think football's way more fun to play. But baseball, you get fucking paid, dude. Yeah, whatever. I could dick ride quarterbacks that are also baseball players. But
that way, sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I didn't know Tom Brady was one of them.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That fucking unathletic looking fuck. What a terrible.
45.
He looks so good right now. He looks so good. Like he's looking fresh. He's looking clean. I mean, he looks like a healthy man. He's like a Brad Pitt-esque. When he's 70, he's gonna look like he's fucking like 50. You're like, God damn, dude. Yeah, it's just that diet. But yeah, I know there's definitely stuff that happened, and I literally didn't look up. I had such a fucking chaotic weekend thus far, and I was gonna do all my preparation today for that. But here I am. I'm prepared as usual, Paul. I'm prepared as usual. Don't worry. The next 2 weeks should be a little bit better. I don't know. Is there anything that's happened in the last few days?
Not that I know. I mean, Kyler Murray, diagnosed with COVID and had to take 5 days off. And
yeah, they also somewhere we didn't talk about is his film, his study clause that got dropped. Yeah, it's I mean, do you want to explain anything? Go ahead.
Well, I think this was just more of kind of insurance for the team because they paid him so much money. But
it was 4 hours a week.
Yeah, it's just a guaranteed 4 hours a week outside of the facility that he's studying, and he kind of takes it as an insult, basically.
Like he doesn't care about they think he doesn't care about his job.
Saying that he doesn't care, work hard enough. If that is actually the case, it's kind of scary to think if an effort, and I think he does. I genuinely does. I think this is kind of an insurance.
Whatever, they dropped it anyway. Doesn't matter. They're shooting out Arizona for putting this clause in.
Yeah.
I know I said San Francisco. I mean, maybe it's the red that
Yeah,
connected
no,
in my brain. Trey Lance,
we were
yeah.
talking about Trey Lance.
But anyway, I mean, did Jimmy find a landing spot? So nothing.
No.
Fuck. I mean, I wouldn't mind
Just-
getting Jimmy G.
just started throwing. Not the like off to the side. And, yeah, but the Niners excused him. OTAs. They're fully committed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I saw it coming, but I mean, I don't know, and I don't know how that affects Debo's stock. You know, does Trey Lance
Yeah,
will he check down? Because
that's another question about Devo that we kind of alluded to earlier. We don't know what it's gonna look like with Trey Lance. Don't know.
Yeah.
No one knows.
what we do know is we have, oh my God, we have the Lions Hard Knocks coming up Tuesday, Paul. You know, we're 5 weekends away from 8 hours of commercial-free football. 7 hours of it's almost like 8 hours. Shut the hell up, Paul. 7 hours of commercial-free football, baby. Ooh. I'm way too pumped up.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Oh, that first weekend is just exhilarating.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, I don't know. It's like the most dopamine rush you get. I'm way too excited. Way too excited. Well, I think we should get into these lists. We get a top 10 each for kickers and defenses. We're gonna start off with kickers first because I'm a little bit more knowledgeable on kickers. Paul's gonna be carrying the workload on the defenses here. I do have a good general idea, but I don't know specific players and stuff like that. Where Paul has a little bit better understanding of that, except for like the top two. I do know, you know, at least the top two defenses. Well, not every player on it, but you know how stacked they are. But anyway, let's get into kickers. We're gonna start from the top to the bottom. I think that's the way we do it when we both.
Oh, we're
You know what
gonna.
I'm saying? Okay.
I thought we were going bottom.
No, I just like to talk about the. I like to talk about. I mean, I guess it's nice to talk about the person. Ugh, I don't know.
I guess one last year we went 10-1.
Okay, so let's go 10-1. I'm fine with that. Okay, we want to start off with your 10.
Yeah. Younghoe Koo is my.
I'm in the last season, drafted him, and just got butt fucked to death. I dropped him after like week 3. He didn't.
Yeah. I look at this. He completed 93% of his field goal attempts and 100% of PATs. I look at this offense and I say, you know, this offense can move up and down the field. I don't know if they can score a touchdown. Give Younghoe Koo a 48-yard field goal attempt. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, if he gets it.
Yeah, if he gets it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's why he's at my 10. That's why he's at my 10.
No, without Matt Ryan there, maybe they move the ball a little bit more efficiently.
I mean, they do have Marcus Mariota, who's more athletic than Matt Ryan, who's going to run a little more than Matt Ryan.
Because it was either they're doing nothing on the drive or they're getting a touchdown. That's the Matt Ryan way.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, having a little bit of balance in there could potentially lead to more field goal attempts.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that, but and Younghoe Koo, he is a great kicker. I'm not putting that over him. It's just he didn't get enough attempts. He wasn't producing the points. He came around him. It's not his fault, but yeah, I mean, it just sucked last year drafting him and just getting like 6. I need to get a waiver wire kicker.
Yeah.
Waiver wire kicker. Just play kicker by week. At my number 10, I have Ryan Suckup. It's Tampa Bay. They're going to drive the ball. Touchdown Tommy does get touchdowns. That's my big scare of them, or big scare of him, is that touchdown Tommy is driving that ball all the way down. But when they do actually get stops, and there will be games when they have a pretty hard defense, or you know, if they don't, you know, mistakes happen. And Ryan Suckup is a pretty stable kicker. I don't have percentages. I don't know what happened to the sheet, but I don't have percentages here. But Yeah, he's my number 10. Yeah, I was put into that.
Yeah, no, it's a really explosive offense. I think that having an offense that is going to move the ball down the field is kind of important for a kicker.
At least get in the field goal range and
Yeah,
they get stopped.
At my number 9, I have Matt Prater. Completed 81% of his field goal attempts, and had a long of 62 yard field goal. Last year, I just look at very similar to what we talked about with Tampa Bay. It's a really good offense. I'm kind of interested to see Kyler Murray without Christian Kirk, who almost had 1,000 yards last year, and how he kind of adjusts to that. Whether AJ Green's able to take, I guess, a step up. Hollywood, being there, and the connection that they had in Oklahoma, and whether that's helpful for that offense. But yeah, I think Matt Prater could be a sneakily good player for your kicker.
You have any stats on him?
Yeah, again, an 81% completion, field goal completion percentage.
I'm pulling around Suck Up right now. I just want to get his. So he looked like he had 83.3% field goal percentage. Extra point is a 49.9. His long is a 48, and his total points is 131, and that is 10th. So I do have him there for that reason, totally, because I did that on purpose, right? Right? Yes. At my number 9, I have Nick Folk. Nick Folk.
Yeah.
You know the name, Paul.
Yes.
Everyone knows the name. He's a very consistent kicker. Very consistent. New England, I think, is getting better. Well, their offense is pretty good.
Yeah, they want to run through those tight ends. Run the football.
So his field goal percentage is 92.3. He has a 89.4 extra point percentage. His long was 53 last year, and he had 150 points, which was first. Crazy.
Yeah.
Just snuck under the radar. It was just like Dolphins kicker, can't think of his name right now. Jason Sanders. Yeah, Jason Sanders last year snuck under the radar. Number one points per kicker last year. Well, from last year going into this year. Yeah, I mean the Patriots drive the ball. I think Bill Belichick's having a little bit more has a little bit more confidence in his offense. Second year for and I can't think of his name right now. God damn it.
Mac Jones.
Second year for Mac Jones. I think he's settling in pretty well. He did I think the best QB drafted last year, I would say. Yeah. Just performance wise. But, we never know what these quarterbacks can do in year 2. I do think overall, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be the best of the draft. But, he was just thrown in at the starter and a shitty team.
Yeah.
And, you can't do much with that. But I do believe he's going to.
I mean, they spent the most money ever on free agents this offseason, including the aforementioned Christian Kirk.
So should give him a few more targets. But Nick Folk, very consistent. He has those pretty long field goals. Someone I really wanted last year as a kicker when I drafted pretty late in my kickers, and I didn't get him, but I was eyeing him. Yeah, I just couldn't sneak it in. But okay. Paul, who is your?
This might be controversial, and
I love controversial. Let's go.
If you look on ESPN's rankings, Patrick is doing right now, you won't see him ranked within the top 10 of anyone.
The top 20.
But yes, the top 20 of people. It's Will Lutz.
God damn. Okay. Can I go off my tangent here a little bit?
Sure.
So I have Will Lutz in my honorable mentions. Now he was injured last year. He's coming off. Was it an ACL or was it a hand? I don't know what it was.
I think it was a hamstring.
It was a hamstring. It was whatever. So he's coming off the injury. And they projected him coming back like week 7-ish. Saying, he's like.
I could be wrong about it.
Could be wrong, but he seeming like he was pretty good. So me wanting to have a stable, complete stable kicker, I dropped Elijah Mitchell to pick up Will Lutz. The last like hasty, fucking anxiety riddled, pickup where I'm sweating profusely. Should I really do this? You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna fucking snag him up. Grabbed him, and then a day later, it's like, Will Lutz out for the season. He's not playing this season. We're gonna let him heal up. Now that being said, he is a phenomenal kicker, and I mean, I understand why he's outside of the top 10 just because of last year not having an injury, but he's a top 5 kicker in the NFL.
Yeah, truly. And I mean, you look at that offense, and it's got nothing but better. They're getting Michael Thomas back. I would say this, that he was in Baltimore with John Harbaugh, who used to be a special teams coach. And he said if we didn't have Justin Tucker, Will Lutz would be our kicker. And
now, do we do the 2022 stats? Percent field goal percentage.
2021 stats, rather.
This is 2020. He was out last year. 2020.
I'm sorry. I thought you said 2022.
No, yeah. So I said 2020. Maybe I don't know why I said Paul. Who knows what I said? But
there's no way to find that out.
Yeah, I don't know. Couldn't find out. Anyway, so his 2020 NFL stats. His field goal percentage is 82.1. His extra point is at 98.3. His long was a 53, and he had 126 points, which was tied for 5th. Pretty consistent. He doesn't really miss often. But yeah, I would put him up higher. That's why I put him on honorable mention. Also, I lost Elijah Mitchell because of him, and might have lost the fantasy football season because of him. Fucking Will Lutz.
I wonder who you lost to.
Fuck you, Paul. Fuck you.
I don't have my belt with me. I'm very upset.
Anyway, it's on me. Matt Prater, my number 8. Very consistent. We were one of his stats. I think the Arizona offense is phenomenal now, especially with adding Hollywood Brown there. The deep shots are going to get him in field goal range, and Matt Prater is pretty consistent in kicking. Loved him when he was in the Lions. Mr. Guaranteed, only misses a few, and had the longest field goal for a while, for a good chunk of time. Anyway, if you want to go on to your next one there, bud.
I have Brandon McManus.
At your number 7?
I'm on number 7. Completed 83% of his field goals and had a 61-yard field goal that was made. I think he could be a consistent kicker. He's been named captain the last several years, Denver Broncos. I think he's a really good player, the special teams captain. I think this guy can be a really good kicker with the right quarterback in a situation, a good offense around him. And he now has that in Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I was gonna. Brandon McManus is also my number 7. Yeah, for the same reasons. New quarterback in there. They're gonna get down the field. They're gonna give him more opportunities. He had 111 points last year, which was tied for 11th. 15th, tied for 15th. His long was 61. His extra point was a 97.1. And his field goal percentage is 83.9. A little low, but nothing too crazy. A few extra shots downfield. Yeah, I think pretty consistent dude. And yeah, with Russell Wilson there throwing the ball, he's going to get a lot more opportunities, in field goal range.
Really solid running game, I should mention.
True, Paul. True. Like angle this.
My number 6 is Daniel Carlson from the Vegas Raiders. He completed 93% of his field goal attempts last year. I would just say this, that don't put much stock in the preseason games, but we just had a Hall of Fame game last Friday. Or Thursday, rather. And the Raiders look good now, considering that they didn't play most of their starters. They buy into this McDaniels offense and culture that he's going to try to build. This could be a prolific offense with Derek Carr Obviously Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. Yeah, this Kenyon Drake out of the backfield as well. And Darren Waller. This could be a really good offense, and Daniel Carlson would benefit from that.
Yeah, so I have Darren Clarkson a little bit higher on my list, but also let's give you a few things here. So he had the 93% field goals. The extra point is at 90.9. His long was at 56, and he had 150 points last year, which was tied for first. He was the I did pick him up week 2, I believe, and I should have capped him. But a little bit inconsistent, but he would have huge games here and there. It might be he might. My thing with him is with Devontae Adams there. I know they can get the ball down the field a little bit more because that gets the heat off Darren Waller a little bit, and Darren Waller is another wide receiver. He's wide receiver. He's wide receiver, big wide receiver compared to skinny fast wide receiver of my brain, Paul.
Oh, Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry, yes. No, Hunter Renfrow. Fucking what the.
Wow. Oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at my list right now.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I have to pull the stuff off the top.
Sorry. We apologize. Hunter Renfrow.
Super sorry. Oh yeah,
a little less welcome looking guy.
There was a video of Hunter Renfrow ordering an Uber for a bunch of players, and he ordered just a basic Uber, which is he's sitting in the front seat, and then three full size NFL players are sitting in the back seat of a car, and they're just stuffed in there, and they're like, Hunter Renfrow's never ordering this Uber again, dude. He's never. You have to order the double XL, dude. Get the fuck out of here, dude. But yeah, no, he seems like a nice guy. Yeah, he's open. I think they're gonna be able to drive the ball down the field a little bit more. But I also believe they could probably get more touchdowns than last year and not depend on Carlson a little bit. But he is a pretty consistent kicker in the NFL. At my number 6, I have Evan McPherson. Ooh, a little bit low, huh? Yeah, it's a little bit low. I think their offense is explosive as fuck. And my big thing with I think he's a phenomenal kicker, but I believe they're gonna just get touchdowns. They're just gonna touchdown Tommy this baby all the way, and they're not gonna have him. So, just a few stats. His field goal percentage is 84.8, a little low. Extra point is 95.8. His long was 58, and the amount of points he got last year was 130, which was 11th. That being said, he had a pretty good year to show. He had huge games here and there, and also pretty crappy games where they didn't need to use him a lot.
He was a perfect 12 for 12 in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a bad kicker by any means. He's in the top 10, Paul. He's in the top.
That's insane, man. That is utterly insane.
Top 6.
For a rookie kicker.
Yeah, no, I think he has a lot of potential, and I do believe he's going to be the top kicker in the next few years. I just have him so low because their offense is just so explosive. I mean, listen, you got Jamar Chase, which is he's already tearing up the field. But the secret there, and my last year's draft showed that T. Higgins was also blowing the fuck up as well. And then you have Tyler Boyd there, and wasn't even being used. Like what? Joe Mixon is now back to being the Joe Mixon of everyone's hopes and dreams, from seasons prior. Yeah, like geez, Joe Mixon dropped so far in our draft last year. It was. Paul stole him. Paul stole him.
Joe Mixon.
Jeez, this is a high-powered offense, and I think they're just going to get touchdowns because that's how good they are.
Second best steal in the draft behind Cooper Kupp.
Behind Cooper Kupp, yep, of course. Yeah, that's why I have him so low, but yeah, he is going to be a top kicker, or the top kicker in the NFL whenever number 1 retires. Not number 1 on the team, number 1 in both our lists. Everyone knows who we're talking about.
At my number 5, I have Matt Gay. Matt Gay completed 94% of his field goal attempts last year. One of the better.
It's 94.1 actually, Paul. Get it right.
I rounded down. But this is explosive offense that I think actually got better.
I don't know how. It's great. How does this team get better, Paul?
even though they lost Odell Beckham, they picked up Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson, which is insane to me. He's a guy who caught 103 passes in 2020. And only had one drop. And I mean, last year was not a good year. Justin Fields kind of was getting acclimated. Didn't find Allen Robinson, and I don't know. I don't know how you don't find Allen Robinson. I think he's going to be a key contributor in this offense, and they're going to be able to move the ball down the field. Look at Cam Akers. They have Henderson. This is going to be a really good offense. That guy's going to benefit.
So he did have 144 points, which was third. His long was 55 yards. His extra percent. I mean, I have Gay a little bit higher up. But yeah, very, very solid kicker. And yeah, my big fear is that they also are going to just get touchdowns and just destroy. With most of these kickers. So my next kicker at number 5 is Harrison Butker. We said explosive offenses. Now losing Tyreek Hill in Kansas City is a big hit. I mean, a big hit.
You can't replace Tyreek Hill.
You can't replace the fucking cheetah. He finds himself open. I'd love to see Cooper Kupp and Patrick Mahomes, dive together, because that's another cheetah type of ass.
I'm very interested to see Juju Smith-Schuster because I think he's a possession receiver. I think Patrick Mahomes kind of got used to that dink and dunk last year because they were playing that cover 2 shell so much. That kind of perfect for Juju Smith-Schuster, who is an experienced route runner. Obviously was hurt last year. I think could be a good offense. Again, it's hard to lose Tyreek Hill, a guy with speed that can't really measure his success. I mean, you look at that Buffalo game and that last touchdown, or a touchdown to Tyreek Hill that was like 70 yards. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had to trust the offensive line and had to trust Tyreek Hill being where he had to be, and delivers a perfect pass to him, and Tyreek Hill just not even fair. No defensive back could have kept up with him. I'm one of the best defenses. I don't know how you replace that, but this is going to be an interesting.
This is why I have him a little bit. Well, this is why I have him here where I do, is because I believe they will not be able to finish some drives there, and they're going to rely on him. And he is pretty consistent. So 89.3% field goal percentage, 85.9 extra point percentage, a 56-yard is his long for field goal, and he had 122 points last year, which I think is going to be bumped up this year. Just because I don't think they're going to be able to finish drives like they want to. Now, that's me betting against Patty Mahomes and not having the cheetah, but Patty does his thing, and I think he he's going to prove me wrong.
Yeah, he's going to find an offense. How this goes.
Okay.
At my number 4, I have Tyler Bass.
At my number 4, I also have Tyler Bass. Now, Tyler Bass is 25 years old. His field goal percentage is 87.5. He had 135 points last year, which was tied for 6th. Perfect on extra points last year. Perfect. He only missed 2 from 50 plus, and he only missed 2 from 50 plus, and then 2 from 30 to 30 or 49 yards. If you want to take over, go ahead.
Well, this offense it's really good, and I don't think it got better, but I think it's going to be consistently good now. If you lose Brian Daboll, who is the offensive coordinator, and that's going to be, it's going to be a difficult thing maybe initially to kind of dive with new offensive coordinator, but I think Josh Allen is smart enough to, kind of pick up on language and adapt. And this team is still going to be very good. They drafted James Cook, who I think can be a really good answer to that question of what the Bills had a running game. Get them in field goal position for Tyler Bass to knock back. Be awesome.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, I mean, I think he's just gonna pretty much be the same where he was last year. Yeah, the offensive coordinator switch up, it might be a little different, but honestly, the team's very similar to last year. And plus, he's a youngster. He's a little young guy, babyface, 25. You know, he'll consistently. He might even be higher than I have, but I put him a little bit lower just because that offense is so good. And Josh Javelins, I believe in him.
Josh Javelins.
Okay. So your next one, Paul, because we've had the same one.
My number 3, I have Evan McPherson. For all the reasons that we talked about, this guy could be the next, number 1 picker. Once the one guy that we're going to talk about retires.
Yep. And my number 3, I have Daniel Carlson, just Vegas. I mean, Vegas teams just got stacked from last year. I mean, that organization just flipped around.
People down on Waller, and we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting offense.
Very interesting. Okay, number 2, Paul.
My number 2 is Harrison Buckner, and we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that this can be an explosive offense. I also look at Sky Moore, and it's kind of weird to see wide receivers wearing 20s again, because Cliff Branch just went in the Hall of Fame wearing 21. But former beast in his own right. But Sky Moore, I'm really interested in what that 4.39 speed, and maybe that kind of makes up for some of Tyreek Hill, but not quite as fast as Tyreek Hill, I'd argue. But yeah, I think Harrison Buckner is going to benefit tremendously from the offense.
My number 2, I have Matt Gay. For aforementioned reasons. Yeah, I just think he's gonna consistently be where he is. He might move up a few points. Maybe, hopefully, he might move down a few points just because the offense I think is a little bit more short up. Especially Cam Akers coming off of injury, and I think that's going to solidify that running game a little bit more. Take the heat off Matt Stafford, take the heat off the receiving core. Cooper Kupp, for instance, mostly take the heat off of him so he doesn't have to carry the goddamn team on his back. I'm not saying he's carrying the team on his back, but to have the Triple Crown to happen, I mean, you're doing a lot of the fucking work. Let's be real. But yeah, and it might open some more opportunities downfield. But another situation where they could score more touchdowns because of it instead of relying on kickers. Number 1, this motherfucker, my favorite motherfucking kicker. I drafted him like 3 years in a row when we first started doing fantasy football, and then I just get stolen every single fucking year by Sean. Every time I fucking beat him, and he would be like that. Because fucking goddamn Justin Tucker got 17 fucking points.
Yeah.
It's Justin Tucker, people.
66-yard field goal, that shouldn't have happened, but it still happened. 66-yard
NFL breaking fucking field goal that should not have happened because there was 2 seconds after the clock hit 0 where dumbass Lamar Jackson fucking got the ball in his hands. Yeah, ridiculous. The refs should have been a 10-second runoff. Game over. No field goal attempt. Cooley got the field goal, but I mean, come on, ridiculous. The Lions' luck here.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Well, the biggest bullshit in the
Hard Knocks Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, listen, we're not getting fucked anymore. I swear to fucking God. This is a turnaround season. Oh, I'd like to say, I don't think I officially announced this. I put $25 on the Lions having a winning football season. Everyone's sleeping on the Lions this year, Paul. And I think they built. I think Dan Campbell built a organization or built a team. Oh, I don't know how to put this. He built a feeling in that locker room that cannot be explained. He had no names last year, just going out there and fighting for him. Going to war with these top NFL teams last year against some of the best players in the NFL. And we're keeping up. 10 game or 7 games within 7 points or whatever the statistic was. I mean, like the Baltimore game. Well, we shouldn't have been close in that game. We should not have been close. And guess what? We lost by a field goal. That shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. Anyway, I do have stats on. So, Justin Tucker's 32 years old. He's getting a little up there in age. His 60. Wait, it's a 69-yard field goal?
66.
66. Well, I don't have. Maybe I was just having 69 in my brain here. I don't know. His field goal percentage is 94.6, which is outrageous. Perfect on extra points. He only did miss 2 field goals. And that was from 40 to 49 yards, which is a little off for him because he's Mr. Consistent when it comes to field goals. You can see missing a few from 50 plus, but normally he hits those 40s, and it's very shocking every time he misses. Anytime he misses a field goal like that.
Yeah, that didn't happen until a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
he actually missed one.
Yeah, and the look on his face is just like, how the hell did that? Like, what? What just happened? Very consistent. 137 points last year. He's not breaking the bank on points, but he's Mr. Consistent down the stretch.
Yeah, and that's
always. He'll get you your 17, 18-point games. He'll do what he needs to do. All right, Paul. We're jumping on their defenses. Running up the top. Defenses, you want to start, Paul?
At number 10, this might be a bit controversial because everything that they added and everything that they have. But I have the Colts at 10, and
ooh, yeah, it's kind of low, Paul. Not gonna lie, that's kind of low.
Yeah, it's gonna get deep. I don't know if Darius Leonard changed his name to Shaquille, but ESPN has him named as Shaquille Leonard. Kind of ridiculous. If it didn't change his name, if he did, then and he's honoring someone, I don't know. Good fan. I don't know, but
I'm looking. It does have Shaquille. It does have Shaquille Leonard. What?
Yes. He had 122 tackles last year. Total tackles last year. 8 forced fumbles, which is ridiculous. I believe it led the league. Forced fumbles. The back is kind of a concern for me. I'm interested to see what this defense looks like because they added Stephon Gilmore, because they added Yannick Ngakoue. Stephon Gilmore played 8 games last year. Only had, I believe, 1 interception. Yannick Ngakoue had 10 sacks last year with the Vegas Raiders, and DeForest Buckner had 7 sacks last year. But I want to talk about this guy from Stanford, Bobby. I apologize, Okuke. Okorke. I don't know how the fuck. He led the league. He led the team rather in total tackles with 132. Guy from Stanford. I'm really interested to see what this defense looks like, and they barely made it to my top 10. But this is a team that could finish top 5 easily.
Yeah, I have them. That's your team. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about defenses. I only know the top 2 to say much. But at my number 10, I have the Miami Dolphins. I don't know much about it. Last year they were kind of showing out. They were doing their thing.
Yeah, they kept the defensive coordinator. They kept the staff in place on defense. So there's going to be consistency there, and that's always nice to have.
Xavier Howard. I mean, I don't know much about these people, but they did well last year. I don't know. Do you have Miami in your top 10, Paul?
I do not have Miami in my top 10.
Oh, so I did sort of show out. I know. I just know who had them last year. Someone had them. I don't know. Or they were. I think they were like a switch around. You know, you pick them up certain weeks. I've been playing the drop and pick defenses.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
typically what you should do.
yeah. Except when you have the top
Yeah,
defense.
the top defense.
Yeah, or top defenses. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. So on to your number 9, Paul.
My number 9 is the Dallas Cowboys, and I look at it. Micah Parsons plays that elephant position that Charles Haley used to play for the Cowboys, and he had 13 sacks last year and 20 tackles for loss as a rookie. That's ridiculous, absurd.
Ugh.
And then you talk about Trayvon Diggs. Now, you can look at his 11 interceptions, which led the league last year, and 77 total tackles. But I would say that he bites on those double moves a whole heck of a lot, and he needs to work on that, and needs to understand that, hey, sometimes we're gonna not have these sort of situations where we can get interceptions, but maybe we play the ball better. And I'm interested to see how it evolves. Still having Dan Quinn there as the coordinator. It's a really interesting concept. I also want to mention oh, sorry. Never mind.
So they have DeMarcus Lawrence there, just a monster of a man. Van Der Esch, phenomenal. But yeah, Michael Parsons, even as young as he is just an absolute monster. Just an absolute. What round was he drafted in?
I'm sorry,
Michael Parsons.
First, he was 11th overall.
Oh, okay. God, could be that's a steal. He's gonna be defensive player of the year, probably. I don't know. At my number that I had Cowboys as well. So
Very similar. Yeah.
okay, your number 8.
My number 8 is the Bengals. Logan Wilson was a revelation last year, 100 total tackles. Trey Henderson, their big offseason acquisition, had 14 sacks. Was up from the year before. We had 13. So sorry. And 12 tackles for loss. Jesse Bates had 88 total tackles, with 1 interception and 4 passes deflected. I'm interested to see, what this defense looks like this year. Gotten a little bit better. They took my boy Daxton Hill in the first round here, so I'm really interested to see how that goes, how that looks.
They kind of slept on this year.
Yeah.
There are a few people that are turning up for him. Yeah, they. I mean, down the stretch they were doing phenomenal. But yeah, I don't have them on my top 10, unfortunately, Paul, because I don't know anything I'm talking about. So, Paul, you're gonna have to talk about my number 8, which is the Packers. I think, if I'm correct, they have one of the best secondaries in football.
Yeah, they have Alexander. Kevin King's still there. Yeah, they also have Donnell Savage, who they took in the first round a couple years back. I have this. I have Rashawn Gary. Now, the reason why you let Darius Smith walk out the door is because Rashawn Gary had a breakout year with 9.5 sacks and 8 tackles for loss. Devontae Campbell, who they got, former Minnesota Golden Gopher, had 146 total tackles.
Fuck.
This is a really good defense. I think, pairing Rashawn Gary with Preston Smith, that's going to be very similar to what we saw with Darius Smith the first year that they were together in Green Bay. And I'm very interested in how this defense acclimates.
Fuck. Yeah, I just know their secondary is just outrageous. That's literally why I put them higher. But yeah, I don't know any names or anything. But okay, so it's your number 7, Paul.
And my number 7 is the Packers. And
Pack Tech. For said reasons.
yeah, for said reasons.
At number 7, I have the Ravens. I don't know if you have the Ravens on there, Paul.
I do have the Ravens.
You just have them higher up. Then, sorry. So yeah, I don't know much about anyone or anything or anyone. I know Calais Campbell, Paul. That's pretty much it.
Calais Campbell. But Patrick Queen had 98 total tackles last year. They drafted Kyle Hamilton, who I believe is the best safety in this past draft, who could have gone third overall, in my opinion. They also drafted David Ojabo out of Michigan with 11 sacks last year.
Stole him. God, one pick before the Lions could have got him.
They added Darius Smith. And they're going to have Marlon Humphreys as well as Marcus Peters come back from injuries. Yeah, we talked about the devastation to their offense last year, but we did not mention their corners. They lost Marcus Peters, and I believe Marlon Humphreys only played, I believe, 8 games. I could be wrong about that. But having those 2 guys back, being able to lock people down with that pass rush, that potential pass rush, as well as Kyle Hamilton there, this could be a really good defense. They're my number 6. So,
well, interesting. So you're number 7 before we.
I gave you my numbers.
Oh, okay. So your number 6 was that.
Yeah, my number 6 was the Ravens.
So, Paul, you might have to. Well, you can probably do the talking. Number 6, San Francisco, Paul.
No, it's kind of crazy.
Why is that?
Because my number 5 is San Francisco.
Okay.
So Fred Warner had 137 total tackles last year. Nick Bosa had 15.5 sacks. That's a career high. Eric Armstead had 6 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. Zeke Al-Ajir, a 25-year-old, the FAU, had 102 total tackles. This is a really good defense. I think only getting better, very young and talented. I'm excited to see, what this defense looks like this year, especially considering, all the young talent.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, the way I look at San Francisco is that I just don't know why I don't see him as like an actual good team, but they are. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, San Francisco sucks, and they're like, oh no, they're actually pretty fucking stacked. It is crazy. Yeah, I only know a few about shit.
That was my number 5.
This is my territory where I start to get into the knowledge, because I usually will draft the defense that I want to keep for the season, or hopefully I can play every single week. So that's your number 5. So I have to hit my number 5, which is the Los Angeles Rams.
Dude, this is crazy.
You have number 5 is Rams?
No.
Number 4 is Rams?
Yes.
So weird. Okay, I think Indy fucked us. I think Indy fucked us up here, Paul. Okay. So I'm gonna start with Jalen Ramsey at the top of the hour. It's just, I mean, the closest thing we get to a shutdown corner in the NFL. He's a shit talker. He gets in fucking wide receivers' heads. Some of them, some he doesn't, some he can't.
I mean, AJ Green. Anyone?
Yeah.
AJ Green's one of the most mild-mannered people, like, ever. He threw fist. He's throwing fisticuffs. He's throwing fisticuffs.
Okay, that's crazy. So I think the big thing, and I wanted to actually move him up, but they stole Bobby Wagner. They stole. How did they have the ability to? I mean, it's fucking crazy.
A 5-year, $50 million deal.
Stole Bobby Wagner, dude. They have Aaron Donald, which is the best defensive player in the last, I mean, might be ever. Ashawn Robinson, big hunk of meat in there. He's getting, he played for the Lions. Yeah, he's eating up the blocks. He's taking a little bit of pressure off fucking Aaron Donald to get in there. I mean, the fact I know a lot of these names, kind of shows how fucking great this defense is. Everest Jones does what he does. Yeah, I just know his name. Yeah, you got stats, Paul. You can bring it up.
I'm gonna throw some stats here. So Aaron Donald had 84 total tackles. Now, keep in mind this guy plays mostly defensive tackle, which is the inside position. He has to get through usually a guard and the center. So keep that in mind when I read this. He had 84 total tackles. 12.5 sacks, 19 tackles for loss. He has 98 sacks since he's come into the league. From defensive tackle position. The majority of his plays inside. And 98 total sacks. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. We don't see that.
It's kind of ridiculous. His form, his technique, everything about he's just born to be a defensive lineman. I mean, he's just absolutely perfect at the position.
Jalen Ramsey, who we mentioned, 77 total tackles, 16 passes defensed, and 4 interceptions. Added Bobby Wagner with 170 total tackles, 100 plus total tackles every season of his career.
It's crazy.
Every
I
season.
just let him walk. Insane. The Rams got him. What the fuck, dude?
This is a really good defense. It's a really good defense.
So my number 4 was Indianapolis. Aforementioned. I put them a little bit higher, but just kind of based off last year's. But I didn't know much. I don't know much about them.
Again, adding Yannick Ngakoue and Stephon Gilmore. Two of the best at their respective positions. This is a team, again, I've said this, that they can finish top 5 easily. Defensive.
Okay, so your number.
My number 3 is the New Orleans Saints.
My number 3 is all.
Okay, so Demario Davis had 105 total tackles. I'm sorry, hold on.
Did they add Tyrann Mathieu this year? They just got him this year, right?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that, but I believe 13 tackles for loss and 7 passes defended. Cam Jordan. I'm sorry. Sorry. We went to high school with Cam Jenkins.
Oh yeah.
But Cam Jordan had 12.5 sacks, led the team. And Marshawn Lattimore had 19 passes defended. And you add more help in that backfield, more help in the defensive backfield with Tyrann Mathieu.
The Honey Badger.
With the Honey Badger. Which is
the Honey Badger. Yeah, I mean, they were set and forget defense. I mean, both of ours, but
they kept them a lot of games last year.
Yeah. So I think we have the same for number 2, which is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's outrageous and outrageous defense. I mean, out of these Super Bowl teams,
core is ridiculous.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Okay, let me just throw some stats here. Devin White had 128 total tackles, 8 tackles for loss. Levante David, who's been an All-Pro for like last decade, 97 total tackles. Shaquille Barrett had 10 total sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Led the team. They added Akeem Hicks. They have Vita Vea there. This is gonna be a 3-4 defense. They're gonna be really, really difficult to stop in terms of pass rush because they have such talented linebackers that are gonna roam. They're gonna be like Raptors, man. They're gonna go wherever they want. They're gonna hunt.
But yeah, they also have William Golston on the edge there
Yes.
that contain big fucking dude. Loved him at Michigan State.
Out of Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean, another set and forget defense, but not the set and forget defense, which is going to be our number one, and it's the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, so they had Von Miller in the offseason, $120 million over 6 years.
They paid him so much money for that old man. They paid so much money for him.
He had 5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. They have Edmonds, who coming out of Virginia Tech was one of the fastest I've ever seen. He had 105 total tackles last.
Bless you.
Big open breaks out. Drafted.
Oh God. Hold on. Talking to it?
Hello. Okay. I'm sorry. I kind of sneezed and everything went haywire. But again, I will say this. Von Miller had five sacks, 12 tackles for loss, and signed a 6-year, $120 million deal. They, Edmonds out of Virginia Tech, who came out one of the fastest linebackers I've seen at 20 years old, at 105 total tackles. Hopefully, they're hoping Gregory Rousseau breaks out. He had 4 sacks last year. They have Jordan Poyer. They have Micah Hyde. They have Davius White, and they added Elam out of Florida in the draft, who a lot of teams believed was the best corner coming out, one of the smartest corners coming out, and you kind of need that playing your left corner position. Ed Oliver, who I believe had 8 sacks last year.
Looking. He had 4 sacks last year.
4 sacks.
One forced fumble in 20.
Thank you. Apparently my stats weren't as in depth, but Poyer did have 93 total tackles last year. Again, they have Micah Hyde. They have one of the best secondaries in all of football, and that's not to take away from the linebacking core, which has improved with Miller. And this is a heck of a team. Forget it.
This is a Super Bowl set and forget. Did I have them last year, or did I not? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I had them last year. It was ridiculous. I should have them every single year. I don't know. It'd be so. I'm guessing. I think I had them, but I don't know.
Tremaine Edmonds, by the way.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, okay, Paul. This is the thing. This is how I can judge how many names I know. And I know Greg Rousseau. I know Daquan Jones. I know Shaq Larson. I know Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, Von Miller, Davius White, and Micah Hyde, and Jordan Poyer. I know all those people, Paul.
Elam is really smart. That was a heck of a pickup for them.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah, and I mean, I know we have our Bills flag here. I don't want to hate the Mafia, but I don't know much about the team besides, Joshy Javelin's in the offense.
Yeah, they were sending Von Miller toilet paper.
Jeez. Oh. They paid him so much money. Way too much money.
Yeah, they paid him a lot. A lot.
Like, a lot of money. But yeah. I think that's our
top 10 kickers.
Yes. And I know a lot more when it comes to the other positions because they're
we'll be talking about quarterback. And then next.
Oh, it's spicy purple. spicy burp. Yeah, we'll have shoot top of the morning, and we'll have our first episode of Hard Knocks down, digested and ready to go.
We'll summarize, talk about that. That's gonna be sweet.
I'm so pumped. I am actually way too excited about Hard Knocks, Paul. Like Tuesday, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
I might watch it Tuesday night.
Are we supposed to be black, right?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Don't you worry, Paul.
With the microphone issue, like that was scary.
Yeah, everything's all fucked. But anyway,
it's been fantastic.
yeah, we'll see.
Flippity flip.
Catch you on the flippity flip.